Hello there and welcome once again to the Mayor's Magazine. I'm Mick Cornett, the Mayor of Oklahoma City, and this is our first show of 2015. It's our January edition. Thank you for joining us. In our first show of the month, first show of the year, we're going to interview Tom McDaniel. He is the chair of the MAPS Citizen Advisory Committee. Tom, thanks for coming on.
Glad to be here, Mayor.
We've been at this now for 4 years plus.
Yes, we
and
have.
Every step of the way, you have kind of been placed in charge of these 8 citizen oversight committees, as well as the Citizen Advisory Board that gathers information from consultants and city staff and starts weighing the variables and keeping an eye on the budget and reporting all of that to the City Council. So I thank you very much. I know the Council appreciates you, and our citizens, if they follow things closely, know that you've really rolled up your sleeves and gotten into this. So thanks very much for everything you've done.
It's really been a great experience, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Well, and you've been a steady hand, because as anyone who knows, when you're talking about all these different things, there's some spirited debate. I mean, there's a lot of decisions that had to be made on these projects.
Well, that's true, and I think all of us really appreciate how you and the council designed a process that would give a lot of public input, a lot of citizen input. And I am here to report 4 years in that we're getting it. We're getting a lot of
good news or bad news. Good news is mission accomplished. Be careful what you ask for.
Exactly. So, but really, that has caused some spirited debate. But I think the good part of that is I think we have a process that's really giving a voice to our citizens that want to be heard about it. And while it makes the process maybe a little longer than it might otherwise be, I think it's well worth it when we're spending the public's money. And as you well know, it's the pay-as-you-go, so we've got time to do it as we collect the money.
Well, let's start talking about the individual projects then, and let's look forward to 2015 to the extent we can. Let's start with the trails and sidewalks. I know that's one of the more popular elements of MAPS 3, and I think it's one that our viewers have probably seen. If they've driven around, they've seen the construction, they've seen the signs, and the general approval is, I think, thumbs up. They really like the sidewalks coming into their neighborhoods.
Well, that's sure been evident everywhere we've had a groundbreaking. Everywhere we've already made progress. We started off with perhaps a little limited view on what we should be doing on sidewalk, but with the encouragement of the council, we broadened that view and we developed a plan to do a lot of sidewalks as money is available. And so we have a plan for the future for the sidewalks in our city, and we're going about it with some dispatch. Those are actually the projects that are going up the fastest, and it has been very well received everywhere we've gone. With the trails, those are projects that are designed. The MAPS 3 money is going to be used to help implement a plan, a trails plan that the city had in place. And I think I could just generalize by saying we're trying to provide connectivity. We're trying to connect the divergent trails systems that existed all over the city. And as a result, these are pretty bold undertakings. We're now trying to we first tried to connect Overholser trails with the West River, and now the one that's been most recently considered by the subcommittees and the council is a very grandiose plan to connect the Hefner Lake trails with the river. And that crosses, as you already know, the Northwest Highway and I-40. So it's a very bold plan, but it's going to be great. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's switch to what's going on at the fairgrounds. I know the construction is underway out there on the big expo center.
Well, we've had the groundbreaking on the new expo center, and the thing that happened first there, we did use about $4.5 million of MAPS money to make some infrastructure changes, electric lines and sewer lines and stuff that had to be done to accommodate the expo center, and also to create a different parking pattern. And both of those things have been completed. And we just last month, the tearing down of the existing building that had to go to make room for the new expo center was completed. And one of the things to look forward to in 2015, you'll see a lot of construction going on at the state fairgrounds.
Yeah, when people attend the fair next September, they're going to see quite a significant construction going on out there.
Absolutely. A big part of the plan has been to try to work around the state fair so that we wouldn't have to not have a state fair one year, and that certainly has been the first goal. But fans of the fair that show up next year will see a big undertaking, a great big expo building that will be generally 250, 270,000 square feet of exhibition space.
All right, let's switch to the senior wellness centers. I know we have a couple of them that will probably be breaking ground here in 2015.
I think so. 2015 will be the most significant year yet on the senior wellness centers. We have one in Northwest Oklahoma City that is about 3 months ahead of the second one, which is going to be near Capitol Hill High School. Plans and design plans for both of those are in the offing. We expect for construction to start in 2015. Very excited about it. That's been a process where there wasn't a blueprint for exactly what to do, and the subcommittee has done a great job of developing something that will be good for the particular area where each of these will be located.
Okay. And then down on the river, I know one of the early projects was to put the lights in, the permanent lighting. But
Yes.
now you're working on the Whitewater Center.
Well, we are. We've had the groundbreaking on the Whitewater, and it's probably the centerpiece project of all of the river improvements that we'll see. But yes, we got the lights up. But I think in 2015 you will see much progress on the Whitewater. Construction will begin. We've already had the groundbreaking. So I think it's going to be a big year on the river.
Okay, let's talk about the downtown Central Park.
Well, the park is in many ways a kind of a centerpiece of what we're doing in MAPS. It's going to be something that literally thousands of people will be able to enjoy. We've acquired all the property for the north element of the park. As you know, the park is bisected by I-40, so there will be 30 acres south of I-40 and 40 acres north. And we've acquired all the property for the north part. We have a design plan that we looked at just last month that we think will get approved early in the year, and then we'll be ready to have groundbreaking there as soon as the council and everyone is satisfied that we have the right plan.
Okay, and the new convention center in the offing?
Yes, also very exciting project because it's going to be on the new boulevard and will be contiguous to the new park, and will also be just across the street from the Chesapeake Arena. So located right in the heart of a lot of new stuff going on in our city, and we've been dealing with the issue of whether we have a footprint that we would like to have for the next 40 years, or do we limit it to what we just have the money for today. And the council about 30 or 60 days ago approved a plan for a larger footprint and increased the budget slightly. And so we're working within those parameters, but it looks like we will have a convention center that will certainly move us up the ranks of the competition around the country.
And finally, the streetcar.
Well, very exciting. You know, this is of all the things that we've never had, this is one thing that we're going to have. And there has been a preliminary framework for a route that's been approved by the council, always subject to seeing what design changes have to be made, but we have a route. And then in December, we look for the first time at the possibility of the cars that would be used, and trying to determine that we've got established technology that we know works, but getting the latest technology as well. Very excited about that.
All right. And on the revenue side, it looks like we're going to have money to complete everything and hopefully meet the expectations of the voters.
We will meet the expectations of what we told the voters, and I'm really happy about that. Right now, the revenue's coming in something around 5% ahead of what the projections were. It's very interesting to me, Mr. Mayor, that when we did the MAPS 1 projections, the projection was that the 1 cent sales tax would produce $4 million a month. The projection for MAPS 3 is $8.3 million a month. So our city's got to be doing something right.
That's
I
right.
mean, those sales tax revenues continue to increase, so it's been really good.
So the economy, in a sense, has doubled in the 20, 25
By that
years,
measurement,
yeah.
and there are a lot of factors that go into it, but by that measurement, you would have to say, yeah, the economy's more than doubled in Oklahoma City during that time frame.
Tom McDaniel is the chair of the MAPS Oversight Committee. Tom, thanks again for all the work that you've put into this.
My pleasure, Mr. Mayor. Thanks for doing a great job for our city.
Absolutely. 2015 is going to be a great year, and Tom and I both want to thank the citizens of Oklahoma City for their confidence in December of 2009 for pushing MAPS 3 forward, and more projects will be in the offing. We'll be back with more on the Mayor's Magazine right after this.
The Action Center is a central point of contact for the public. Instead of having to worry about what department within the city does what, they can just come to the Action Center and report issues that they see throughout the city. What we do is take that information and then we filter it out to all the different city departments for them to work those concerns. The Action Center isn't just for people turning to when they see a problem in the city. I mean, we're actually an information and referral center as well. And so anytime they have questions about city services or city government, they should give us a call, and we will be happy to answer any question that they have or find out the information if we don't know it and certainly get back to them.
Welcome back to the Mayor's Magazine. I'm Mick Cornett, the mayor of Oklahoma City. And in this segment, we're going to meet an artist who's got some exciting new projects coming out of the ground, Rick Sinnett. Rick, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And am I pronouncing the last name correctly?
Yes, sir.
Sinnett.
That's right.
And you're an artist of not just local renown, but of creating regional interest in a lot of really great public art projects.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I can imagine people at home saying, okay, well, let's see. Mm-hmm. All right, well, let me show you one of these projects. And as we take a look at the one that you've done down just south of Bricktown on the Rocktown Climbing Gym, this is a massive project, and I hope the pictures do it justice. Was it 6 stories?
It's almost 100 foot tall.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's closer to 10 stories.
Okay, so somebody comes up with this idea and you don't run.
Right.
I mean, you actually embrace this idea?
You know, I don't know why I did, but I did. It was a great challenge.
Yeah, and so how do you go about that? How do you start?
Well, you know, when I first approached that project, to be honest with you, I really didn't think about how I started or how I was, to start this project. But I was more intrigued by the challenge of just making it happen.
Yeah.
So when finally all the ducks were in a row, I go up to look at it and I thought, wow, we've got to paint this thing now. So it's kind of a good thing because I didn't have any kind of inherent fear of the project. I didn't know any better. So we just kind of created a process as we went along.
Now, is the surface, is it easy to get paint to stick to it?
It was, yeah. It was a nice, smooth surface. Part of the challenge was it's a series of silos, 7 silos connected together, and there's a valley, an intersection with each silo. So leaning into that and getting this image to wrap around each cylinder, if you will, it was a challenge.
And so I assume you designed it not while you're doing it, but you designed it on paper or on a computer first.
Yep.
So what were you trying to accomplish when you were in the design phase?
Well, I just wanted to, with my murals here in the state of Oklahoma, I try to incorporate symbols that everybody can relate to. And I started thinking, and I was just, I was kind of thinking about one of Woody Guthrie's songs, and the words in it, "This Land," and I wanted to create something that incorporated this land. It kind of not just represent the city, but the state as a whole.
Mm-hmm. And so what do you call this project?
This project was called the Silo Art Project, and the title of the image on that is called This Land.
Now, I'm interested in how you knew exactly where to put what paint where. Did you illuminate the image on there so you could see what it would look like?
I would have loved to have been able to do that, but I'm a printmaker by trade, and my artwork is full of symmetry and concentric circles and whatnot, and if you were to illuminate it, you have an inherent amount of distortion. So I took my knowledge from printmaking and just kind of blew it up, scaled it up, and I made a giant stencil for this. Actually, Steve Sake donated this giant stencil to this project. It was 360 4x8 sheets of material that we used, and yeah, it was quite the undertaking.
It must have taken a massive amount of time to put the stencil up there.
Yeah, that and just organization and planning and all kinds of things. You have to keep these things in numerical order and alphabetical order, and yeah, it was a.
So start to finish, how long did it take?
Well, it was quite the process. From start to finish, technically about 3.5 years. We got approval to move forward on the project, and had to get permitting and things like that, and these certain issues would pop up from time to time, and then we would come upon winter season, and so it happened in phases.
Right.
The final step of actually applying the image only took about a month.
Wow,
So
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I know.
And you're probably well skilled now. You could be a window washer. If this doesn't work out for you, there's probably other careers awaiting.
Yeah,
a guy that's willing to hang on the side of a building
Right.
all day.
Yeah.
So did you have to get over any physical fear of?
Yeah,
of
I
that?
do have a fear of heights, and you know, and it's something that I deal with on a daily basis. So, but it's I never thought through bringing art to the people and through public art that I'd have the opportunity to kind of fight one of my fears.
Yeah, address it through your art.
Yeah, and that's it.
Okay, I know this isn't all you've done,
Right.
so kind of take us through some of your other works.
Well, currently, right now, I'm working on another what I call mega mural. I'm painting it in Norman, and it's on the tallest building on Main Street. It's the Vista building, and it's about 85 foot tall by 140 foot wide. But I've got a project. The way this all began is by way of a project called Public Art Project 66, where I'm painting a series of murals from border to border in the state of Oklahoma along Route 66, 11 murals, and I've painted 3 of those murals now. The first one in Tulsa, in the Blue Dome Art District, the second one in El Reno, on the back of an old historic drive-in theater, and the third one in Bristow, Oklahoma. So we have 8 more to paint to complete that project.
And do you have the artwork already completed?
I've got concept sketches,
I see.
and most of the locations are picked out. And I do have another one that I'm painting for Downtown OKC Inc. here at 5th and Mickey Mantle here in downtown Oklahoma City.
Oh, well, that's an exciting
hope to paint
project.
that
That's
one
a
next
high
spring.
visible area too.
Yeah.
So give us a little bit of your background. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Mustang, Oklahoma, and
There must have been an art class or two along the way.
I was. I was in about 5th grade. Bert Seaborn, one of my favorite artists, came and done a demo there for us, and I knew at that point that I wanted to be like him.
Yeah.
I wanted to be an artist.
Did you find you had a kind of a natural talent for it just in grade school when you just kind of
Yeah, I did. I was fortunate to have parents that would encourage me to be creative. So very blessed in having them encourage me and support me throughout the years.
And then after high school, what'd you do next?
Well, I went after high school, pretty much right after high school, I went out to Northern California, to try to learn how to be a printmaker. And I went from that to owning my own print shop and just pursuing art for my entire working career. And never in a million years would I have ever thought that I would be painting giant murals. But as an artist, or as anyone, you always want to do something for the better good of mankind. And when I painted my first mural, created a piece of public art, I realized that was my calling. That's what I'm here to do, is to bring art to the people. The effect that a mural has on a community is just amazing. It's a process, and the community gets to become engaged with this process because it takes a period of time. And by the time I'm finished with these, they seem to take ownership in it.
Right.
And through that ownership, they have kind of a renewed sense of pride in their community. It's an excellent thing.
Do you think about other media, maybe sculpting or anything like that?
I've been thinking about kind of two-dimensional murals where I'm using metal, different types of metal, and rather than painting something on a structure, applying a new surface to it, different types of metal. So I'm kind of experimenting with that right now.
And at some point, if it hadn't already happened, you're going to be asked to start visiting grade schools and
Yeah, I do,
and
yeah.
trying to inspire the next generation. So what's that like, having gone full circle and remembering being on the receiving end of a
You know, it's I feel as if it's my duty, and I really enjoy it. I love going to schools, grade schools, and talking with kids, not just about being an artist, but about pursuing your dreams and how to persevere and make things happen.
Yeah. Well, Rick, you're a real asset to the community. Where do you call home these days? Since
Mustang.
You're working all over the state.
Yep, still
Back
in
in
Mustang.
Mustang.
Yep, still in Mustang.
All right, and so people can see these Route 66 projects along Route 66.
Yes,
You
you
mentioned up in Tulsa and Bristow, and certainly down in Bricktown. It's a massive project. And Rick, we're so grateful that
Thank you.
you're willing to devote your life's work to the betterment of our society and improving the amount of public art in our community.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
We'll have more on the Mayor's Magazine right back after this.